Hi there, this is Steve with Smitty's Flybox, and today we're going to tie this Rainbow Warrior nymph, Lance Egan pattern. It's a good wintertime nymph. So we're doing this in our beginner fly tying box for January 2025. So this is a Scud hook here, and I've got a silver bead. This is a 2.4 millimeter size 16 hook, and I'm just using 8/0 thread. So we'll just start by starting our thread, wrapping our thread over the top away from us, and we're just going to lay down a little bit of the thread base there, and then start about the midpoint of the hook right there, and that's where we're going to put a tail in. So we're going to use pheasant tail fibers. So just take a piece of this pheasant and try to get a nice long section there. You don't need a ton, just a little clump of pheasant like that for a tail. And just carefully even up those tips a little bit like that. And we want the tail to be about half the length of the hook shank. We don't want a big long tail sticking out there, just a short tail. So we'll just measure that about half the length right there. And then once I have that measurement, I'm going to pinch it right down there, right at the tie-in point right there. Now, I have a little space there, so just bring your thread around and just roll that right up on top. And now as you pinch right there, you can just tie down those fibers towards the back, and they should be about the right length. If you need to adjust, you can always do that. Just like that. And let's return our thread just past halfway, about right there, and we can snip off this excess. Now for the body and the wing case, we're going to use just flat pearl mylar flash like that. And so let's take one strand here and just hold it against the hook and just come around with our thread and carefully capture that, and just hold that along the side of the hook, and we're going to tie that down again all the way back to our tie-in point directly above the barb of the hook. And then let's return our thread just past halfway. Now we can take this flash and we'll begin building the body of the fly by just making wraps over the top away from us, nice tight wraps as we work forward. And it gives it that kind of shiny look there with a little bit of red shining through from our thread. And once we reach just past halfway, we can tie that off. So we'll go straight up in the air with my right hand, and then we'll bring my thread over with my left hand 2 or 3 times to tie down that flash. Okay, now instead of clipping that off, we're actually going to use this. So just take it now and just kind of wrap it forward. We'll just kind of hold it tight right there. Wrap it forward slightly, and then let's fold it back right back at our tie-in point, or our midway point, just like that, and try to position it so it lays nice and flat. And we're going to wrap back towards our left now to the halfway point. All right, we're going to use that to pull that over here in just a second. Now for the thorax, we're just using rainbow sow scud dubbing, and again, we don't need a whole lot. The tendency is to put a little too much on this, so we can always add a little if we need to. But I really want to just fill in that space about the same size as the bead. So begin creating a little ball of dubbing about the same size. I'm going to add a little more. Go right up under that bead and kind of jam that bead up in there. And that's about what we want to look right there. So this fly is basically a WD-40, same steps, same profile and everything, just different colors. So you can tie this in lots of different colors, and they work well as well. So, okay, now notice our scud hook is kind of tilted down. One thing you can do, a little tip if you want to keep your thread from slipping, just re-tilt that fly so it's a little more level there, and then I can just pull that flash right over the top, and then just carefully bring my thread over, and we're going to capture that with 2 or 3 really good turns right there, right behind the bead. like that. I'm going to make a couple more in front, behind, and now I can trim off that excess. And now we'll just build a small little red collar right there, tie down any loose fibers we may have, and now I can do my whip finish right there behind the bead. And we'll secure that down. We'll add a little head cement or super glue. And we have a good little wintertime fly, small nymph, that works well as a dropper, or just nymph it like you normally would under a strike indicator. And it seems to pick up fish during these January, February, March times of year.